stuck my hands in the water, grabbed it, yanked it out, and it wasn't until I had it in my hands that I
you
realized
realized
what I did.
Hello everyone, we're still here in Louisiana. We're still in Chris's house. You guys seen Chris's 65-gallon, but that's not everything he's got. He's got this 190-gallon tank. We're holding up on you guys. We wanted to show you the best last. This thing looks incredible. He's been doing it for over 3 years. He took the hobby by storm. He's going crazy. He's got a bunch of goodies in here. So we're gonna grab him and ask him a bunch of questions. So let's go get him, come on. Chris, we're back at it again, buddy.
Yes, sir.
So last time was incredible, but I wanted to show this one off. We try to trick people into believing you only had one tank, that it wasn't overgrown. The reason why the other one isn't overgrown, because this thing is just growing, man, you got things growing on the walls, you got things growing against each other, things on the floor. I mean, this is just coral warfare going on here.
It's borderline warfare.
How long has this tank been running?
This tank is actually 2 years old. This was an upgrade from a 90-gallon.
So you mentioned to me, you got into the hobby 3.5 years ago, and now you got 2 beautiful tanks. You're going crazy, huh?
Yeah. It's not hard to go overboard quick.
I know. So where do we start with this tank? Seriously, I'm trying to figure it out. So who makes this tank?
This is the ProStar ProClear 230 system.
230 system. And let's start from the top on this one. Are these the Orphic lights?
Those are the Orphic Icon Atlantics.
Okay, and you got 3 of them, and you have this strips in the middle. Will you call them?
The Reef Lit from Kelsey Gidry.
Kelsey is the gentleman that we filmed the tank earlier. Yeah. Beautiful tank, by the way. He's got a bunch of these strips.
We've been running that setup now for about a year.
So this is like my 2nd or 3rd tank in about 1.5 years, and I do a lot of tank tours that I see these Orphic lights. They look beautiful. What made you go with them?
I had 3 Hydra 64s running on this one, and one of the arms broke and I lost a light in the tank. You'd be surprised how bright a Hydra can be at night underwater.
That must have been scary, huh?
Yeah. And Brandon here, no second thoughts about it, just stuck my hands in the water, grabbed it, yanked it out, and it wasn't until I had it in my hands that I realized what I did. And set it on the ground, unplugged it, and stumbled across a deal on these.
It gave me like, you're right, he doesn't realize until you took it out. I mean, obviously, you could have got stuck in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Oof, all right, things happen. So anyway, you upgraded, and what made you go with these lights?
I had a buddy that had found a guy that had 7 of them, that he was trying a different style. He went up to Dallas, picked them up. I got 3, he's got 3, and another buddy picked up 1. And now I'm kind of wishing I'd have just got 6 of them.
6 of them? You like them, huh?
Yeah, I like them.
I mean, the most beautiful tank I've seen in the past year or so, it was Brad from Ohio. If you're watching Brad's beautiful tank, 400-gallon tank, and he had these Orphic lights in there. Beautiful. He grows some amazing corals. Hopefully we can come back in about 6 months or so and do another tour. All right, so that takes care of the lights. Let's start from the top since we already did. Let's go to flow now. So you got gyro power heads here?
That is the Ice Cap 4Ks.
Ice Cap 4K, okay, and how many do you have?
I have 2. I have the Nero 3 on this side.
Okay, I didn't see that.
And the Jabao on that side, blowing behind the rocks, just to eliminate any dead zones.
Gotcha. I mean, it's always smart to eliminate dead zones. If you can get the rock work out of the bag and just create like a tunnel just for more water movement, it always helps, because dead zone can be pretty bad for the reef. So let's dive right into your corals, which you have a lot of them. Let's just start with these beauties here. So this is your Acanthophilias, me corals, Cinerinas, Trachyphilias, a little bit of everything, right?
That's my prized possession corner right there.
It is. Is that your favorite coral, will you say, or no?
It is my favorite coral.
Me corals?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I tell people. If you don't have a single me coral into your tank, you're doing something wrong. Even if it's one, just to let them puff up in the front, and when you give it that food and that thing just open up. Yes. It's like nothing you've seen before, right?
And even just the typical green, which you can get those fairly cheap. And I stumbled across that one for $100, and I was like, man,
it's beautiful though.
It's a meat coral, man. It's like you said, you gotta have it.
You gotta have one at least. And this right here, actually people don't know, I just asked you for a frag. I don't have those. What do you call those?
Those are the Grandmaster straps.
Grandmaster straps, we don't have it. So I'm gonna trade you for some Grandmaster cracks then.
That is not a problem.
There you go. So you got a lot of zoanthus here on the floor. This clam looks super, super happy. What are you giving that thing, man?
This tank is living off of a calcium reactor.
Calcium reactor.
And
are you giving it any food?
This tank is just like the other tank. It lives off of rods with the Aquaforce ABV, and there is also some of the KZ products that I dose in this tank.
Can you tell me about the KZ product? I'm not too familiar with it.
KZ, I use the amino acids. They have a vitalizer, which is just like a coral food, a liquid food. When you find something that works, you kind of stick with it. And I bought some KZ products with a bunch of coral for a guy that was closing out his tank, and he was like, look man, it works, try it. I tried it, I found it works, I stuck with it. I still can't break the bad habit of dosing the Aquaforce every now and then.
Gotcha.
So
like you're playing with both a little bit, see what kind of results you get.
Yeah.
And this torch right here, that thing looks so happy, man. How many heads did you start it with?
That was a single head that I got from a buddy who was getting out of the hobby. It is called the Prenup. And at the time, whenever I got it, it was 600 a head. And I flipped it over the other day, and it's probably about
15, 20 heads?
20 heads.
I believe it. That thing just looks beautiful. And I noticed you have Xenia back there. You're a risky guy. I just noticed that right by your pink bird nest back there.
Every now and then, I pull a piece off of the rock down here at the bottom that keeps crawling to the front. And it's been kept at bay. That was something the wife wanted in the tank. She loves the flow and the movement of it. And well, happy wife, happy life.
Well, you're gonna have plenty of that. You know that coral's not gonna stop growing anytime soon. And this is like a soccer ball size, this freaking goniopora. It's like burgundy, it's gorgeous, man.
Yeah, that was, I got it from the same buddy that I got the torch from. He was getting out, I told him, I said, what do you have that you'd want back if you got back in the hobby? And it was the Goni and the torch. So I inherited those, and they've been growing ever since. And when it closes up, it's about the size of a softball closed.
Oh, I believe it. It's so much bigger when it just opens, right?
Yeah.
I see the two caps back there. This Monty, the grafted Monty back here is just going crazy, just encrusting all over the place. Looking gorgeous, man. And there's corals everywhere. And this thing is gorgeous here.
That one's gorgeous. That was started as a baby. It's probably a year and a half old. I can't wait till it gets the size of the other one.
Did it have more pink at one point?
It did have more pink.
I think I know which coral it is.
More pinkish purple in the stems than what it is right there.
If you can get it more to turn purple, people go crazy with that coral. But I know exactly what it is. We have it. It's not an easy coral to keep the color in it. But if you do, kudos to you because it looks amazing. Now you got some acros here. I see a couple millies. You got the bottle brush. You got the slimer right here. You got a couple blue lining stag over there. So you always been an acro guy or a little bit of everything?
I was always more in the LPS. The torches and the Zoas. And then when I seen Kelsey's tank, I fell in love with the SPS, and I was like, let me take a dive into that. I'm scared to stick my hands in there because whenever you start cleaning stuff, you end up with so many frags.
I know, because you're so packed in there, man. You're gonna have to start trimming here very soon, buddy.
My buddies, every time I buy a new piece, they're like, where are you gonna put it? There's always one little spot somewhere that needs something.
So let's dive into the chemistry of this tank. Do you do water changes on this tank?
This tank hasn't had a water change since June of 2022.
Since June of 2022. So that's going into a little over a year and a half, going almost into 2 years.
Yes, right after I set it up, I've tried to get a flame angel, and I've never been successful. The last two that I got have caused me velvet because against better judgment, I chose not to quarantine and I stuck it in the tank, and I actually had to tear this whole tank apart to catch all the fish, and I had 18 fish and I lost over half of them. So now I have back up to 9 fish in here, and after going fallow for so long that the 80 days, my nutrients were so low. When I got the fish back, the bacteria in that had just, the system drives itself, so there's no need to do a water change that I see as long as the nutrients are staying where they need to be.
So what will it happen, you think, if you do a major water change? You think it will It will stress the tank out, or you think it will help him? I've never gone so long without water change like that, so it's hard for me to tell you.
I do the ICP test, and the strontium and fluoride is normally my two that are probably the most off.
Are you dosing trace elements to this tank?
Just the calcium reactor with the Zeo Mag and the Trident.
So let's break it down, because if somebody didn't see the episode with the smaller tank, they get to understand more now.
Light buttons on this side.
Man, I gotta put you in the meticulous club now, man. Your thing is too clean, man. It's too clean for me not to put you in it. We have a new member of the meticulous club, guys. Welcoming him in, Chris. I'm still trying to join that club and I can't. All right, so what do we have going on here? So you have a SRO 3000 internal skimmer. That's a nice size for this tank. I think it's just the right size. I see some Brightwell products there. What do you have?
After going fallow, the nutrients had bottomed out, so we were dosing neonitro and neophos.
So you're putting nitrous and phosphorus on the tank?
To be able to maintain until I got my fish back.
So not anymore?
No, they're just on standby now.
Okay, just on standby. And you're a big fan, I can tell, of putting a lot of extra media on the sun just for extra bacteria, for extra life?
Yeah.
Okay, so no refugium, just a lot of rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's not just rocks. Those are bricks that they hold tons and tons of bacteria.
There's 3 of the 8x8 by 4 inch marine pure blocks in here.
Okay, so you can start a couple tanks with those things if you need to right away.
There's actually some bio bricks in here, and then the rock for anybody that needs help jump starting a tank, or
you can hook them up.
I love the science behind it, the biology. So biodiversity is just something that I think is really what drives it.
And can you tell me some more about your equipment? What are you using for a return pump?
I have a Vero 6 on the return.
From CoralView?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Doser, any dosers that you have here?
Nope.
So you
just
have a
the
calcium reactor?
Yep.
Geo's Reef, okay. What's this here?
This is Geo Reef's latest Super Silent.
Okay.
And I gotta give it to him. It's really quiet and it's worked really well for me.
Is this your first your first calcium reactor?
Yes, sir.
Who helped you learn it?
Research, man. Research, and fear.
They can be finicky in the beginning, but once you learn and understand the concept, it's so much better. When I first started using a calcium reactor, it was literally 20-something years ago. And back then we had something called the Coraline calcium reactor. And man, when it worked, it worked, but man, it used to get a little bubbles trap on this top. And man, it will work for 3 or 4 days and then you have to adjust it. So I didn't believe in calcium reactors back then, because the whole idea of a calcium reactor is set and forget. Well, back then you set and you didn't forget. You were back at it 3 or 4 days later, you know, so something worth mentioning. But this is long ago. I'm talking about the year 2001, 2002.
The only issue I had with this one was I actually accidentally turned the effluent off and been slowly adjusting it to get it back up. And right now I'm only running 7.9 on my alkalinity. I normally like to keep it in the 8.3, 8.5 range. So slow and steady wins the race, so we're just baby stepping it back in that direction.
Funny you say that. People, if you guys are watching at home, too many people make mistakes on salinity, temperature, alkalinity, phosphates, nitrates, calcium, whatever you want to mention it. But every time they find that a number is wrong, what's the first thing they do?
Change it.
They want to fix it right away. And it's the biggest mistake you can make.
Yep.
Your alkalinity can be, I don't know, it can be 13. Doesn't mean you're going to bring it right back to 8.
No.
That's what people, they panic. They're like, oh my gosh, it's supposed to be 8. Well, it's been 13 for a few months if you haven't noticed, and everything's not dead. So, but guess what? If you go from 13 right to 8, or even let's say your salinity is 0.18 and you didn't realize your refractometer is broken, you're not gonna add a bunch of salt to bring it from 18 to 25. You're gonna shock the tank, a double whammy.
Nothing good happens fast.
Exactly, it takes time, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your fish. We didn't mention your fish. So what do you have in here?
We got a couple tangs. We have the blue hippo, we have the sailfin. There's a chocolate tang hiding in the back. I have classic yellow.
Okay, no classic anymore.
No.
They're hard to get a hold of now.
Yeah. There's a coral beauty hiding in the back.
Okay.
Got a Banggai cardinal, got a Melanoris wrasse. There are no hermits. This tank is snails only.
So Chris, I gotta ask you a question. You got a little patch right here of this clove polyps. You and me were talking about it. They're invasive cloves. The reason why I want to mention that, I want to see somebody watching this video can help us to figure out what type of medicine can be dosed in the tank and not mess with the corals, but actually kill those cloves. Don't hold me on this one, guys. I want to say for some reason the fluke tabs will help get rid of those clothes, but I don't think they make fluke tabs anymore. So we're trying to find the main ingredients. So if you have any tips out there how to get rid of those pest blue clothes that they're super aggressive, post it on the comments below. I got some in one of my reef tanks. I mean, I got many of them, but there's one, and they're so annoying. They grow super fast. They grow in between the zoas. They swallow the zoas. Yeah. It's just annoying, you know, so I figure we point them out. Everything's not always pretty on reefing, right? So I don't care if you're a pro, I don't care if you're a hardcore hobbyist, if you're a new hobbyist, it's never always perfect. So you always have to deal with different challenges. And I think that's one of the best things in this hobby, that it keeps you on your toes, right? Always thinking.
Yeah, just when you think you got it licked, something will pop up, whether it's a pump goes out or you accidentally turn something off and leave it off. It's always borderline. But that's what happens when you try to grow the ocean in your living room.
Exactly, Olive, from different parts of the world too.
Yeah.
You're trying to join the oceans in a little box in your living room, right?
That's what everybody's like, man, it's so peaceful. I was like, it's a constant war zone, technically. It's anything but peaceful in there.
In there, yes, it's a coral warfare, I call it all the time.
That's it.
Well, Chris, tank looks phenomenal.
Thank you, sir.
So is the other one. Thank you for inviting us over, man. We appreciate it.
Coming.
All of you guys watching at home, always please subscribe to our channel, help us out, post some comment below, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you guys on the next episode. See you guys.